Hello, I'm Hush Mokadam, and welcome to Food of Love with Chef Dad. My friends and family know I'm a passionate cook, and I find myself cooking all the time. My kids started calling me Chef Dad when they were little, and one year they made me this little apron. As a dad, one thing I will do in every episode is tell at least one dad joke. I'm often accused of using every pot in the house, but every now and again, I love making simple and delicious preparations. I'd very much appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe to my channel, turn on post notifications, and share this with your friends. Let's get started. You need to have a staple steak preparation in your repertoire. That's why today I'm going to show you how to make a filet mignon. Now this is going to take 2 to 3 hours from start to finish because of the way that I cook it. So make sure you've planned for that. That's right, 2 to 3 hours. This is food of love. And food of love takes time, but it gives you a perfect steak. Now I've not included a sauce recipe today because you can easily have the steak with no sauce at all if you prefer, or pair it with a multitude of sauces, some of which I'll include in subsequent episodes. Now, remember to open that full-bodied red wine that you're going to have with the steak. If you open it now, it'll have time to breathe and sediment to settle. Now, it may surprise you, to make a perfect steak, it doesn't take a lot of ingredients. We're going to make 4 6 to 8 ounce filet mignons, but you really want them even thickness so they cook properly. We're going to need 3 to 4 cloves of garlic, and I'll show you how best to prepare that. 1 teaspoon of freshly crushed pepper. Please don't use the pre-crushed variety. 1 teaspoon of salt. A half teaspoon of finely minced herbs of your choice, whatever's fresh in your garden on the day. And then about 2 tablespoons total of olive oil, not extra virgin. The waiter says to the man, "How would you like your steak cooked, sir?" The man says to the waiter, "Like winning an argument with my wife." The waiter says, "Rare it is." Now let's talk about what cut of beef you like. Honestly, it's dealer's choice. I prefer filet mignon, but if you want a ribeye or other steak, this will work just as well. Not surprisingly, a better quality marbling will increase your flavor, but you'll find that the big box store cuts are just fine for this preparation, and we do this routinely in our house. I routinely use butcher's twine to hold the shape of the filet. I cut several lengths in advance so I don't have to keep washing my hands, and I tie them around the center portion of the filet. It makes the shape beautifully round, keeps the thickness even, and it looks perfect. I much prefer to cook most meats sous vide. Sous vide literally means under vacuum. The concept of the vacuum comes from the vacuum sealed containers that you put the food in when you're cooking it. For those of you unfamiliar with sous vide, this is not boiling food, but rather bringing the food to a preset temperature to cook it. The pressure from the water surrounding the bag drives your seasoning and flavorings into whatever it is that you're cooking. Turns out great. I use a large insulated sous vide container with a lid custom fashioned for my sous vide device. There are many available on the market. It keeps the heat in and has a large enough capacity for almost every cook. So I preheat my sous vide to 130 degrees for medium rare. If you want rare, go to 125. If you want medium, go to 135. I am not going to give you advice on how to cook a meat more than medium, because that would be criminal. Why did Han Solo send the steak back at the restaurant? He said it was chewy. There are many advantages of cooking sous vide. The first is that the food is completely, evenly, and perfectly cooked. 2, the cooking time is not abrupt. You often have 30 to 50% extra time while the meat can stay in the sous vide and not get overcooked. And third, there are some options, which we'll explore in other episodes, when you can do a very long cook, 24 hours, 48 hours, turns out amazing in certain preparations. Once you start cooking sous vide, you may find it hard to go back. All right, enough on the sous vide. Let's get back to the steak. Once you have your ingredients prepared, combine them with 1 tablespoon of olive oil. You don't typically need oil in sous vide, but since we're mixing wet and dry components, it helps them meld together better. Then evenly coat each of the individual fillets on all surfaces. One of the things about sous vide is that contacting imparts strong flavors, so you want your ingredients finely cut, chopped, etc., and uniformly touching all surfaces of the food. Place in a freezer quality storage bag, keeping the fillets slightly separated. We're going to put these in the water using what's called a water displacement technique. Check this out. As you lower the food into the water bath, the water pushes the air up so that there is minimal, if any, air pockets, and the water can contact the cooking meat only separated by the freezer bag. Depending on the thickness of your cut, this might take 1 hour for a 1-inch cut or up to 2 hours for a 2-inch cut. Most sous vide devices have apps that attach to your phone that will give you specific instructions and notifications. Now you're going to have 1 hour to 2 hours to make any sides or sauces that you have planned to go with your meal. When you're nearing the end of the cook time, get ready to sear the fillet. I'll preheat my sear station on my grill and give it time to come to full temperature. While it's preheating, I'll remove the fillets from the sous vide and take them out onto a plate. I'm going to cut off the butcher's twine now because I don't want that to get seared too. What do you call a steak that's been knighted by the king? Sirloin. My searing station gets hot. It's about 1200 degrees on the surface. When it's at full temperature, I oil my grates with some olive oil, and then I'm going to add the steaks directly over the heat. And I'm going to turn them about every 30 seconds to give a nice hash. Then after 30 seconds, I'm going to turn them over and rotate one more time. That's it. It's a 2-minute sear at this temperature. I don't tend to sear the sides because I think that leads to overcooking. Then remove and keep them covered. Look at this beauty. The grill marks are just right. Slicing into it, you can see it's medium rare end to end. You can see the marbling in the meat. It's so tender and juicy that you barely need to cut it. All right, are you ready to try this? I'm going to grab a little bit of mushroom salt, sprinkle it over the top. Ready to take a bite. You can see how perfectly well done this is. It is absolutely medium rare all the way through. Oh my God. There is no other way to get a steak as perfectly cooked as this. This is the way, if you know what I mean. Thank you for joining me. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and turn on post notifications. Feel free to share with friends and family. We'll see you next time on Food of Love with Chef Dad.